Mix people and cars, and unfortunately you get this. Crashes seem inevitable, the negative byproduct of our transportation system. But the dirty little secret? Every one of these crashes is preventable. It's why filling out the CR3 form is one of the single most important things you'll do for your community. Eva Ship knows how vital you are. Your crash data is the biggest part of her professional career. As the manager of the Crash Analytics program at the Texas A&M Transportation Institute, she works with your crash data every day, developing unique and effective roadway safety strategies. When Ship was 19, she had a near fatal crash with an 18-wheeler in a car like this one. So helping save lives with the help of your crash data is not only a passion, it's personal.
So the information we receive from the CR3 form has been collected by law enforcement officers when they get to a crash scene. And then through the CR3 they enter all the different types of information about how the crash could have happened and other details about those involved in the crash. And all that information is fed into a database that's maintained by TxDOT. And then we go and query that database and pull those crash data out so that we can do various statistical analysis.
Your data helped Ship and her team develop this interactive tool, especially designed for law enforcement agencies like yours. If implemented, the color-coded roadways indicate areas of high crash likelihood. Red areas are the worst. With this information, law enforcement activities can be concentrated where it matters the most. In the future, trucking companies could also use this tool. If mounted in their cabs, for example, drivers could be extra cautious in those areas that may be collision prone. All made possible because of your crash forms. And now an example of how technology is combined with your crash data to make things safer. Transportation researcher Charles Gerganis developed a way to use mobile LiDAR technology to pinpoint roadways in TxDOT districts where rainwater doesn't drain well. As a result of his work that combines LiDAR images with wet weather crashes, surface drainage is improved so that water can be kept off roadways. He knows that with your accurate and complete crash reports and his LiDAR application, hydroplaning will be reduced.
The districts will get that information, they'll be able to see their vulnerable locations, we'll cross-check it with wet weather crashes, and then we can really have very pointed solutions to wet weather crash related issues. And so while it feels like it's just another piece of paperwork to you, without it we can't be effective in what we want to do to make the system safer.
So many safety issues can be revealed just because of crash data. For example, a cluster of collisions on a rural roadway could be improved if lanes are widened. And warning signs or guardrails could be concentrated on those curvy areas where vehicles are running off the roadway. And in this case, in Westlake, Texas, too many crashes were occurring at an intersection on State Highway 170. Where one crash might occur here in a year, there were 5 in 4 months, with 1 fatality.
A lot of people's lives were impacted forever.
Mike Wilson, a former police chief and now the interim city manager for Lake Dallas, says these incidents led him to the cause of those crashes, a flaw in the roadway design. The road was fixed and the crashes ended. As police chief, he was convinced that crash data is a lifesaver, and he thinks we need to all do a better job in letting officers know that their crash reporting efforts make a huge difference.
It's all about telling the story behind it and how it impacts people, how it impacts lives, and how by taking that next step, the information that you're relaying, how that can ensure that maybe that next family isn't met with tragedy.
In Northeast Texas on Interstate 20, it was a spike in deadly crashes that soon caught the attention of not only law enforcement, but TxDOT as well. Crash data revealed that a series of crashes were occurring during rainy conditions. It was water spray that hurt visibility and led to the crashes. The solution? A specially designed overlay was applied to that section called permeable friction coarse asphalt. With this PFC, rainwater is filtered through and away from the roadway thanks to this highly porous asphalt, eliminating this dangerous spray. The difference has been remarkable.
We drastically reduced the number of wet weather crashes when we went back and evaluated that same section a year or two later. They had gone to single-digit crashes where we were having a tremendous amount of crashes. And that data allowed us to see that very quickly on a map, just looking at the clusters. You know, it showed up bright red, and then that virtually went away.
There is simply no way to know how many injuries have been avoided or how many lives have been saved because of the work you do filling out these forms. But it's a lot. Imagine all the heartache that's been avoided. And for that, safety professionals, researchers, in fact, your entire community owe you a debt of gratitude.
A traffic accident has a very personal feel. So many of us have experienced that either personally or we've had a friend or somebody that's been very impacted by a traffic accident. And a lot of us want answers as to why, and we want solutions. Not necessarily for what's just impacted us, but so that it doesn't impact anyone else.
I truly appreciate what they do and the level of effort they put into that information late at night, early in the morning, whenever the crash occurs. You know, they're having to spend a lot of time, and I know it's time consuming, and just to put those reports in and put that information in and get it all documented, but it's invaluable to what we do because safety is our top priority.
From my own experience with my own crash, it very easily could have been a fatality, my own fatality, and that kind of shaped as I moved into a career towards injury prevention and my ability to work in motor vehicle safety. It makes this availability of this data very personal for me, and I'm extremely grateful to the law enforcement officers that do take the time to fill out these crash reports